Welcome to the next project. Continuing with the Harley Benton DC kit modification project series, which DC basically means SG in this case. We are going to do some work on the neck, get some frets pressed in. These are nickel frets, not stainless in this case. Gonna get them pressed in, leveled, crowned, dressed, polished, looking good, shiny, nice. We're also gonna do a little bit of work on the body, and without any more chatter, let's get right to it and start the next project. Doing some cleanup work on the fingerboard and the binding, getting ready to add face marker dots. Since we're talking about that, what's your take on the marker dots? Do you think the guitar needs them, looks better with them or without them? Do they get in the way? Are they ugly? Do they smell bad? Do they confuse you? Do they really show you a roadmap of where you are? Now let me know. I was on the fence for a number of years, thinking I couldn't even attempt to pick up a guitar that didn't have face marker dots. And then I built a couple guitars without them, and now I realize I don't need them as much as I thought. Once those had dried out, I shaved them down with a chisel or a razor blade or something. And now I'm cleaning up the fingerboard a little bit more, clamped a radiusing beam to the bench, running the neck over the clamped radius beam. That was 320 paper on the beam. Now I'm hand polishing it, going up to, I think it was 2000 grit paper. Yeah, there's 2000 grit right there. I don't think I did 3000 grit on this. It looked pretty good at 2000. Cleaning out the fret ends just a little bit using an X-Acto knife. Getting any little crud out of the fret slots that there might be, and giving it a very light coat of oil/wax. And there's a reason for this once we get a little bit further down the road, but for now it's looking pretty good. I didn't show it, but I actually clean the fret wire before I radius it. I wipe it down with, I believe it was alcohol, or maybe I used acetone this time. But usually there's a little bit of probably manufacturing goop that's on the frets, just a little bit. I mean, you run your hands over it, you really don't notice it. But if you use something to clean the fret wire, it is noticeable. Cut all the frets to length. Now I'm going back through using my Amazon case nibbler converted to a fret tang nipper tool, and going through a methodical process of nipping all the tangs back so the frets will fit inside the binding. A little bit of super glue in the fret slot, and this is another reason I used a little bit of that wax and oil to pre-treat the fingerboard. It helps keep any super glue from instantly bonding to the wood along the face of the fingerboard. And I'm barely putting in there, and it's not so much, in my thinking, to bond the fret in the slot as it is to seal the end grain that's within the slot. But what do I know? I'm making this up as I go. Doing a quick trim of all the fret ends. And here we're taking a look at a couple homemade bevel file blocks that I made. One of the blocks is a 0 degree, which it's kind of a 90 to the base of it. And I just press a file for stainless steel in there that I have. And this is not stainless steel fret wire, so it works really well. Now I'm switching it over to the 10 degree angle, which is on a different block. And so I'm pushing my angle along gently, and then I'll switch to a 20 degree. Using the same file, cleaning it here, and I'll push it into the 20 degree bevel in the block. That's as much bevel as I will add to the fret ends. After this, it is on to rounding the ends, semi-hemispherical or rounded hot dog ends, or whatever you want to call it. I really don't like just flat beveled ends. I think I'm becoming a fret snob of some sort. Started doing this. It sucks, it takes a lot of work, but it feels good. That's what we're after. I'm using my Neck Beam 2.0 custom tool once again with my neck clamped down and cutting some protective tape to keep me from damaging the fingerboard. Yeah, there's a good chance I'll scratch something, but this helps keep me from myself. I use a Precision Contractor's level that's been cut down. It has, I think this was 320 paper, maybe it's 400 paper on it, using no pressure at all. I'm not worried about flexing the neck because I'm not pushing on it at all. I'm just letting the weight of an aluminum sanding beam run across the top. One reason I like really fine paper is there's less gouges to take out of the frets when you're doing your final work. Leveling is done, and now it's time to reintroduce the crown, filing the sides of the frets back up to a very fine hairline top edge, and running the length of the neck with some 600 grit sandpaper wrapped around a foam pad, and that just kind of helps take any file marks out in the direction of the neck. Now I'm going side to side using a couple progressively finer grits of paper. I think I ended up with 2000 grit paper in the end, running side to side. A little quick once over on the edges, and we are ready to polish. If you've watched any of my other videos where I foolishly replace frets for no good reason, I'm using the same process as then. I'm using a Dremel style tool and some metal polish basically. It has a little, I think it's a wool pad for the Dremel tool, and it makes quick work. The frets don't get hot. It makes them really shiny if you do all your foundation work properly. It just makes nice frets. Taking a quick look at what this guitar came with for frets, and man, those are rough. And this is what we have done. We've replaced the frets and made them nice, smooth, and shiny. A lot of my projects are just testing ideas and products and trying to figure out what I'm doing. I have used this Solar Ease or Solar Res or Solar EZ, whatever, however they pronounce their brand. I've used this product before, a couple years ago, and I like it in some respects and I dislike it in others. I am going to be doing a test soon where I attempt to spray this on and then get it in the sun. My concern with spraying is that I'll get a bunch of bubbles in it. So I'll probably have to use a torch to flush out the bubbles before I put it in the sun to dry. It's going to be a big experiment. I don't know how it's going to go, but back to the project at hand. This stuff does sand pretty good. It will have a slight tack to it, and if you research it, you learn that it's basically got oxidation trapping when it's curing in the sun. You scuff the top off of it and it sands pretty well after that. The neck has been dropped back in to get things aligned and figure out where the bridge will go. First thing I did is find center on the neck and use the good old sewing thread to locate the center line from the neck onto the body. I did use my red laser a little bit later just to double check my work. It honestly took me more time to get the laser set up and find center than it did for me to pull a piece of sewing thread to find center. And honestly, the sewing thread did a perfect job. If you have a laser, go ahead and use it. Sometimes when a simple process works, you have to question why complicate your life using high-tech stuff. I think I'm full of bad jokes. Doing a quick recessing to get the shoulder on the bridge post bushings so they'll sit pretty much flush with the top of the body when it's all done. Now I'm boring the main hole for the bushing to push into. Simple stuff. As I put my videos together and watch through the footage, I'm like, wow, I am not high-tech at all. I basically used my finger to locate where I wanted the hole, and then I glanced at both sides of the body and tried to figure out approximately if it was going to be in the right place, and then I just drilled a hole. It worked. Now I am getting ready to poke a bigger hole in it for a P90 pickup. I could just route all the way down to the final depth with the general P90 shape, but I decided to challenge myself and do a stepped shoulder routing, which is specific to dog ear style P90s. So in a way, I'm limiting the future of this guitar to a dog ear because, well, a couple things. It's got the shoulder route, and it also will have a couple mounting holes drilled into the body. So that's just crazy. Oh boy, I'm in a goofy mood. Oh look, it's a push-push potentiometer. This is kind of fun. If anybody tells you that you can't tell when it's in the on or off position, which it's actually on, give them a weird look, roll your eyes at them, because this push-push, if it's up, it's on. If it's down, it's on a different on. It's more on. Ba-dum-bum-ch. I want to thank everybody for sticking with me through this episode. I know it's gone kind of fast in the 13 minutes or so it's already been. Trying not to waste your time. Taking a quick look on the way out, a little bit of the work that has gone past us so far. Thanks for tuning in, sticking with me, hanging on, putting up with my goofiness. Maybe I'm talking too much. I am talking a lot today. Click the bell, ring the bell. That's what it is. Thumbs up. Don't give me any other fingers, please. Leave a comment, good, bad, otherwise. Let me know what you're up to. It's great hearing from everybody. Take care of yourself and those around you. And until next time, take care. Bye.